Hello YouTube. Today on Black Thumb Tips, Tricks, and Tools, I'm going to be talking about spring clamps. I read a joke the other day. It's kind of funny. The devil was griping to God. The devil was saying, it's not fair. You got to create everything in the world, everything in the heavens. You created everything. What do I get? Let me create one thing. God says, all right, one thing. The reason that joke's funny is because many times spring clamps, well, the proper name is automotive spring action band clamps. Factory hose clamps. The reason that joke is funny is because a lot of times just manipulating the clamp, just removing the clamp or pulling it far enough to where you can remove the hose is a chore in itself. Sometimes it's more of a headache than the whole job. Whether you're doing a water pump, a thermostat, or even just a hose replacement, sometimes these hose clamps are hard to get to and hard to remove. So my 07 Express van, my part hauling truck. It's a 6-liter V8. If you look right here, top of the radiator, got one of those band clamps. No big deal. Just reach in there with some pliers, pinch the ears together, move it out of the way if you got to move it. But on the other end, if you can see all the way down there at the water pump, there's another band clamp. If you look at it, the ears are underneath, right close to that bracket. Good luck putting a regular set of pliers on that. 2012 Traverse 3.6 V6. It's loaded with band clamps. Some of them are hard to get to. This one's in between some brackets. Sometimes the clamp starts to rotate as you're pinching it. There's another example of a clamp down there. Not a very comfortable position to put a set of pliers on. 03 Impala 3.8 liter V6, upper radiator hose. As you can see, that clamp is really easy to get to. But if you look at the other end, over by the radiator, that's not going to be a comfortable pinch. But if you look at the lower radiator hose, kind of the same situation. It's going to be hard to get a set of pliers in there. So you get the general idea. Some of these clamps are hard to get to. They're in situations to where it was easy to assemble at the factory, but it's not very considerate for the mechanic that's going to be working on it. Simple solution, don't buy any modern cars. Stick to old classic cars. Eventually, turning wrenches, you're going to have to deal with it. Whether it's your wife's car, cousin's car, dad's car, some friend's car, you're going to have to deal with these clamps one way or another. Let me show you some of the tools that I use to deal with them. So like I said, most of these band clamps, they have these two little ears that stick up. You can actually just stick a set of pliers, and when you squeeze down, if they don't fly off, if they don't slip off the pliers, they're going to open up wider. Like I showed you, some of the clamps are in positions where they're hard to get to. Some of them you can actually come up and grab with a set of needle nose. You know, if you got a long enough set of needle nose, you can actually sneak in somewhere and pinch down and grab them and actually open them up. Some of these clamps aren't going to cooperate, just like these aren't. Another option is band clamp pliers. These are a set of old band clamp pliers I've had for a long time. As you can see, I finally wore them out to where I bent the tip. But if you look closely, it's got several different steps. That's designed to where once you get the clamp to a certain size, pinch it so much, it'll hold it there for you to where you can take it off the hose, actually leave it like that, put it back on, and then you actually release it and the clamp pushes it away. These are pretty neat, but like I said, I wore them out, and plus they had little jaws on them, little tips. Who knows where those are at. I got these other ones. These are from Mayhew. These, although they don't have all the separate steps, they have just the one lock, and they have jaws on here that can be positioned to different angles depending if you're grabbing a clamp like that. You can actually go like that. You can actually have different angles just depending on where it's at. These are actually the proper tool for doing band clamps like this. They do make one that has separate steps like the other one I showed you, but this one doesn't. This is just a one-shot deal. You unlock it and it releases. It's a pretty neat tool, but it's still not going to help you in situations to where you have brackets right next to it, or it's upside down, or situations where you can't get a set of pliers in there. Then you have this one. It's a remote cable hose clamp tool. Still works like a set of pliers, has different steps on it, and a release just like the other tool. This one's also by Mayhew, but it has this long cable. When you squeeze it, it pulls the cable. If you look closely, you have this end actually squeezes down. This is usually my go-to tool. You position it on the clamp like that, squeeze down, go ahead and maneuver the clamp off, do whatever you're going to do with the hose. You can actually leave it like this, slip it back in, release it, and you release the clamp. But by far, the biggest advantage of these pliers, besides the locking feature, is you can come in at any angle. No matter where the clamp is at, you only have this much surface area of the part that's actually going to do the work. And you can actually do the levering action away from it in a place that's more comfortable, has more space. So you compare this little area versus this large area. Plus you still got to be able to do the clamping action. You can even do a smaller clamp. So those are some of the tools that I use to remove some of these spring band clamps. One thing I forgot to mention is when I take off these spring clamps, even when I'm working on somebody else's car, I usually don't put them back. I'll usually follow them up with a standard screw type band clamp. Well guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.